afternoon. It's 5 o'clock here in Wollongong on a very balmy autumn afternoon. I'm not sure what the weather's like where you are. You might be watching from somewhere which actually has some autumn weather happening. We're still in summer. I don't know. It feels like it anyway. Very humid, very sticky, but gorgeous day to be outside. I did get outside a little bit today. Walked around town, had some coffee and cake, as you do. So I have been playing with the book treat boxes, and I promised a little while back, I think it was on one of my blog posts, that I would show you how to create one of these little book nooks that I've seen around. If you don't know what a book nook is, Google it. It's a little display which is like miniaturized in the sort of size of a book. Usually the spine of the book is open so you can see into a shop or a room or a library, and you're meant to have it displayed in your bookcase. It usually has a light as well so that you can see all of the details in the miniature. And I kind of was inspired by that, so that was behind my creation. I also was inspired by one of the US demonstrators, and I've listed her name, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it is now, but her name is on the blog post. I'll be posting this video in the blog post. I'll also upload it to YouTube so that you can see. So you'll need to go to my blog, www.vanessawebb.net. Don't forget the double B. And you'll see the blog post, and the person's name and a link to their website will be in there as well. Sorry that I forgot your name. But this little box, I'm going to show you what mine looks like, and it's very similar to hers. I just worked out my own way to make the shelf because I wasn't sure how she did that. So there's a little shelf in the bookcase, and I've used a different die to cut out the opening of the bookcase, but you can see it there, and it is it's very cute. And I also worked out that you could put a normal size tea light in there, but if you wanted to go smaller, that would probably work as well. So I know you can get smaller sized little lights that are battery operated. And obviously you wouldn't want to put a real candle in there, real flame, because paper and fire don't mix. And so that's what I've done. I've just included a little tea light, and I know it sticks out there. Hi Katrina, good to see you. I know it sticks out a little ways, but when it's sitting in the bookcase, it kind of just has a nice little glow about it. And if I open it up, I'm going to show you how to make this, but if I open it up, you'll see that the little shelf doesn't go all the way to the back, so the light will reflect up into the top section of the little bookcase. So, would you like to know how to make it? Let's switch you around and I'll show you my workspace. So as I said, I've used slightly different dies. I have also used, obviously, the book treats bundle. So there's the stamp set. There's a couple of different book stamps there. There's also some greetings, which are kind of cool. I really like this one here. So if you lend your books and you want to make sure that people give them back, or that they remember that it's yours, it's a great way to keep track of things. And you can write your name. Obviously, there's a stamped part, and then you can write your own name in there. And I love, this is my favorite stamp. See this little set of glasses? How cute is that? So cute. I'm going to use those in my bookshelf as well. Okay, so the For the Books is actually a bundle, and I'll just show you what comes in the set of dies, because it doesn't actually have dies that will cut out the books, but what it does have is some dies that cut out other things. So let me just open these out. So it's actually got a die that has a book with like I guess it's an inlaid, embossed pattern on the book. So you can actually just punch that out and use it on some projects. Let me just show you how I've used it. I've used it on these two cards here. So I'm not going to show you this die today. It's also got, so see how you can stamp you can stamp a little message in the middle of the book there. Very cute. But look at the detail. It's gorgeous. Such a nice die. And yeah, you just pop it on a plain white card. I've just done a little bit of shading in the background, stamped for you. Now these are the cutest. These are little tassels, and you make them with this die. So the die that looks a bit like a comb, which is part of For the Books, is actually the die that makes these tassels. So you cut them out of whatever paper or foil or cardstock you'd like, and then you roll them up and you stick them onto the end of some twine, and they become these little tassels. Very cute. So I popped them on my card. So that's what I've been making with the dies. And it's got a little banner. It's got a little hole to make a hole in the top of, say, for example, a little bookmark. So there's my bookmarks that I made, and I've added some tassels to that, and I've just put one of the books made with this die down the bottom. So if you're giving someone a book, wouldn't it be nice to be able to also give them a bookmark to keep their place in the book? And then if they're going to lend it to somebody, you can suggest that they grab hold of this stamp set while it's still available. It's actually in the mini catalogue, which is finishing at the end of this month. At the end of next month, April, and we'll have a new annual catalogue at the beginning of May. We'll also have some new products. We've got some new products coming in our online store, so lots of new things coming. So yes, you've got a little bit more time to get hold of this. If you want the bundle, it is actually 10% off. You can buy the stamps alone, or you can buy the dies alone. It's nice to be able to make these little tassels easily with the dies, and I think I can see some more applications with those. Alrighty, so For the Books. The other stamp set that I'm using for my little book Nook is this stamp, Planted Paradise. So the lady who inspired this project had a little plant on her bookshelf, and this was the stamp set that I went to because I thought I could create my own plant and have it as big or as small as I wanted. This is one of my favourite stamp sets because you get to create your own little succulents. There's some cute little pots. You can use them either the plain side or the pattern side. You can even layer the pattern on the plain. And it's a reversible stamp set. So when you're playing with it, you'll be able to stamp a background and an overlay. So you're really getting two stamp sets for the price of one. There's 20 stamps in there. So Planted Paradise, that's you can find that in the online store. I think it might also be in the catalogue. I can't remember. Anyway, if you type the word plant or the name Planted Paradise into the online store, you will find it. That's the easiest way to find everything, guys. If you're looking for a stamp set or a colour or anything like that, just punch it into the search bar at the top, and it will take you straight to that product and give you all the information. All right, so how do I decorate my box with this paper? This is actually paper from the annual catalogue. Let me find it for you. It's the beginning, and it's the beautiful, it's like the Country Woods suite is where it's from, and you'll see it pictured on page 51. It's 12 by 12, so you get a lot of paper, and it's great for scrapbooking, great for card making, great for adding some texture to a project. So it really does look like wood. Some of these designs are just so beautiful, and they're completely random and unique. So each section is unique. So it really does look like a solid bit of wood or wood veneer. I've got my book treat box, so I've assembled the inside, and that all comes pre-cut and pre-scored. So it means that all you need to do is fold along the score lines, and there are lots of little sticky strips which you'll, if you're sticking this one down, which we will in a second after we after we've run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and done a couple of other things to it, we're going to be sticking this box down there. So that will become our bookshelf. You can sort of see how that goes together. But first things first, let's decorate this. I've got a piece of this Country Woods paper. And I'm going to, it's not quite exactly the same size, but I can put it on like this and then trim it. So I find it easier just to put my glue onto the paper. And this glue is great because it gives you a little bit of wriggle room. So I'm going to take it up to the edges right there. So if I turn it around this way, you'll see what's happening a bit better. So I've got it flush with this edge because it's going to be easier to trim a little section off this end than it is off that end, although we're going to take this off. And we're going to have to trim our corners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that to dry for a little bit. I'm going to stick that over here, and we're going to do some more things to it. But before you start trimming, it's always a good idea just to make sure that it's straight, obviously on there, and then you're going to put it there to put it to the side to dry. That would be my recommendation. So that's the first thing you want to do. Second thing is some stamping. Let's do some stamping while we're waiting. So with For the Books, we've got a couple of images that are other books, and what I have done with this project is I've stamped them in Memento, Tuxedo Black Memento, and I've coloured in each of my books with Stampin' Blends. And the great thing about the Stampin' Blends is that you can choose whatever colours you would like, and you can coordinate it, you know, with maybe the book that you're giving somebody to add to their library, because obviously this is something they'll be able to put in their library as well. So we've got a stack of these books, and I've actually stamped 2 each of these. So I've got 1 and 2. That's those ones. And then I've got these 2 ones that are going to be leaning up against the other books. I'm just going to stamp them there. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good. And then I've got my little glasses. How cute are they? So cute. And then I've got room here for my plant. So I'm going to stamp everything, and you will need to cut all of these out by hand, and the best tool to use is your paper snips. So you're not going to watch me do that. I've actually pre-cut everything, but just wanted to show you the stamping bit. All right, so here's our copper clay. I've got a terracotta pot, and it's going to sit on the shelf as I showed you, and then I've got some old olive leaves, so I've got some nice lush leaves. It's a very healthy plant. It's been well looked after. So there you go. I'll shut that. All right, I'm getting ink everywhere, guys. This kind of goes with the territory. Do you often end up like this when you've been stamping? I've got blue fingernails, and I've got Cajun Craze fingertips at the moment. So yeah, thankfully it washes off after a couple of washes with soap. Okay, so I would go ahead and colour these. Now, how I use my Stampin' Blends, and I think I've shared this with you before, you always know that there is a dark and a light. So I start off with my dark. So any bits that you would like darker, that you want to have a bit of a shadow, say, running along the side of that book there, I would use my dark first, and then I would come in with the lighter colour. So this is Moody Mauve. And I would go through and I would colour each of those books differently, excuse me, until I was happy. So you can see, here's the ones that I prepared earlier. I've cut them all out with my paper snips, even the little pair of glasses. You could just stamp that on top of a stack of books, but I want them to be a little bit 3D. So I've gone ahead and cut out my plant, and the arranging comes when you go to stick it into your bookcase. So you'll stamp them randomly, and then you've cut them out so they're all ready to go. So that's that done. Okay, now my bookcase body should be ready to go. And I've got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm going to bring that in. The dies that I've used for my window in the front of the bookshelf are the perennial postage dies. Now these are still available in the online store, and if you just search for the name, you'll find them. There are 12 dies in this set, so it's a really versatile set. They're all the same shape, but different sizes, basically, of that same shape. They all have the postage stamp edging, which is really cool. So what I'm going to do is I will pop this through. I'm going to just make the folds a little bit more distinct, and I am going to trim. I'm going to trim this off first before I put it through. So I'm going to go along here with my scissors. It's easier to do this when you have got the paper facing downwards and you can sort of see the ends, the bits that are actually coming out from the side. So I'm going to round these corners off just with my snips, using the box as a template. Round this one off and round this one off. And I'm also going to go ahead and cut this little tab off. Now, don't throw this tab away, because this is what becomes your shelf. And I'm going to show you how to make that in a second. All right, so there's my box. So my box template, and the inside of the box, the square bit, will eventually go here, but we're going to put that on after we've run it through. So my window needs to be on this part of the box. So just orient yourself before you put it through, because you don't want to cut the wrong section out. That would be bad. I'm going to lay it here, and basically what you want is for this to be right in the middle. So let me just get it out. You want it to be right in the middle. So you've made your crease there. You can see the crease, and that allows you to line this up directly in the middle of the box front, or the front of your bookshelf. So there we go, I've got that there, and I'm going to run it through as normal. Okay, so when you've got this bit, what I'd like you to do is you want to keep this, because let me show you what I've made. And again, I got my idea from the American Demonstrator, whose work I have credited on my blog. And you want to use this little panel on a card, and you can actually make that a focal point on a fairly plain looking card. Stack some books in front and pop your greeting up there. Add a couple of embellishments as well. So don't throw anything out, guys. This makes a really sturdy focal point to a card. And yeah, it's a really nice shape too. It's really pleasing to the eye, I think. Right, so here we go. I've got my window, and I can now go ahead and take these little pieces off. That's the wax paper. And that's going to allow me to sit this box. So again, this goes right in the middle. So if you can sort of aim it for the center with equidistant from each side. There we go. And there's my box, and you can see there's quite a large cavity there for you to to assemble your bookshelf. So it's a great little project. You could use any stamp set, make it any theme. I'm thinking the Storybook Friends would be a really nice addition to one of these bookcases as well, going with the sort of Beatrix Potter Bunnykins vibe. But yes, we're going to fill ours with books, as I've said. All right, so I am now looking for my little tab that I cut off, because I'm going to make my shelf. Here's my tab. So what we want to do is we want to just cut the very end of this off, not too far in, but about that much, so that it's still wide enough to fit across the inside of our box. So You just want to eyeball it. Now don't worry about the fact that there's a crease there. That's if you're using it as the closing mechanism, which we're not. We've got another mechanism for that. We're going to cover that with paper. So I've got some spare scrap paper here, and I would apply the glue to the tab that you've cut. Just a little bit, not too much. And just add it to the back of your paper like that, and that should dry fairly quickly, so I'm going to just cut around it with my scissors. And there is your shelf. Now what we do need to do is make a fold line, so I'm going to grab my paper trimmer and I'm going to use the scoring attachment to your paper trimmer. You just want to score it all the way down the middle so that you have a fold in your shelf. So one part of it is going to be the horizontal and the other part is going to be the vertical, like that. You can see there's a corner there now. And that's it. So the way you apply your shelf to the inside of your bookcase is just with a couple of glue dots. And I'm going to put one, so this part's the front of the shelf, the bit that you're going to see from the front as you're looking through the window. I'm just going to put a glue dot on each side and just kind of roll it so that it hides a little bit. You just want it on the very, very edge. And then I'm going to come inside the box here and just apply a little bit of pressure. Make it as centered as you can. You can use those little blobs, the postage stamp shapes, to kind of hide any of the glue dots. If you've got too much glue dot showing, there's a little bit much there, I'm just going to poke it in with my scissors like that. And can you see how that's now become the flat shelf where we can sit a couple of our embellishments and our books that we're going to be putting in. So that's the box done. Now then I would go ahead and just add a little bit of glue to the books, just around the very edges where it's going to stick to the inside. So basically these ones are just going to sit inside here, so you can just see that blue one down the bottom. There we go. See, so that's just stacked inside the shelf. With these ones, I would actually stick them to the front of the shelf, so it's kind of looks like this is actually the flat bit where the books are sitting, and yeah, it's kind of giving the illusion of sitting against the back of the shelf, and you're just going to sit them there. So you've got a little tiny bit of that wood showing, so it looks like they're stacked on top of the shelf when you're looking at it straight front on, if that makes sense. Now you've got a little cavity at the back there, so I would go ahead. You've got some little books that you can add, so I sort of added these ones about here, so they were leaning up. But down here, you actually want to have some more books sort of at the back of your shelf. Sometimes people stack their shelves so that they have them 2 books deep, and they fit more books on that way. So if I show you like that, can you see on poking through, if you look through, it looks like these are just sort of sitting at the back of the shelf. They've got a 3D look because these pens are actually 2 different shades of the same color, so they'll really pop when you use the Stampin' blends to color them. And go ahead and apply your plant. So the trick is to just put glue where it is touching the front. So I would put my glue just on this side so that it sticks down the bottom there. And same with the leaves, I would put my glue just on this left-hand leaf so that it sits nicely. And you do still have room for one of the larger candles as well. That's it. So I want to show you very quickly how I fasten it, because what I thought was it'd be great to be able to sort of hold it closed, and I need some adhesive for that, but I don't want it to be impossible to open because it'd be nice to be able to change out your candle if it runs out of battery. So this is how I do my closing mechanism. I reach for some glue dots again. Now I like to roll my glue dots so that they're a little bit smaller, and I just want to put them just so they're right on the very corner, and I'll just show you what that looks like. You can hardly see it. It's a rolled up glue dot, and same with this corner here. Another rolled up glue dot. Here we go. And if you sit them right on that corner, when you go to close, it's going to catch on the inside of the front of the bookcase, but you can still lift it off and then re-stick it like that if you want to. So that's my closing mechanism, just 2 glue dots rolled up, 1 on each corner, and that seems to work pretty well. I think these are a really cute gift idea. It'd be lovely if you're giving someone a pile of books or even just one book. You could make a card, you could make the bookmark, and you could also create them a little book nook to go with, to go in their shelf, and for them to look at and be reminded of you, because it's something that you made. I love that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that idea, and I hope you're inspired to get hold of the For the Books bundle before it goes, and the dies that match as well. And I will be back with some more inspiration another time. Thanks for watching. Bye.